Spider-Man Homecoming.
It's... No, we can't do it.
I know, man. My bad. Okay, guys, this is our Christian perspective of Spider-Man Far From Home.
You almost said Homecoming again.
I don't know why.
This one is our spoiler review.
Christian perspective.
Yep. So if you haven't seen the movie, go to our other review, which is non-spoiler version. But make sure you come back and look at this one after you've seen the movie, because we've got some really good conversation pieces so that you can share the gospel with people.
Yep. What are some themes in the movie?
Well, I think one of the themes was our perspective of people is not always true of what their own view of themselves is, if that makes sense. So, for example, in the movie, it talked about Tony Stark, also known as Iron Man, and they basically idolized him. Like, he is this hero that no one else can live up to. He's just so awesome. But as you look at the other movies of Iron Man, you see that behind the scenes, he was a perfectionist, very egotistical, prideful. He had anger problems.
Anxiety problems.
Anxiety, yeah. So he was far from perfect.
The only person perfect
is Jesus.
So yeah.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, that's right. Our heroes, no matter how awesome they may be, still are sinful. That's right.
The biggest one I think that we can talk about in this movie is a call in your life. So Peter, Spider-Man, had a big call in his life, and he was terrified of that call. He was also kind of selfish in that he didn't...
Definitely. He's just a kid.
Right.
And so there's so much pressure for him to have to be the leader of the world.
Right.
Because in this movie, they want to pass the torch from Iron Man Tony Stark to Spider-Man Peter Parker.
Whenever we have a call in our life that we are scared to fulfill, or that we feel like we can't fulfill or whatever, we can't run from that. And no matter what you do or how much you run, like, God is going to usher you into that role, and not just make you do it, but he's gonna give you the people in your life to help you do that. Right. And we saw that in the movie as well, right?
Yes. And that, like Grace said, that's the way it is in our life. God prepares us to be who we are. Like Moses, whenever God called him to lead his people, it was a calling that God put on his life that, matter of fact, previously there hadn't been anybody like him. And it says that in the scripture that there was nobody that will be like him in the end. He sent him to Goshen to live out there for 40 years, and what he did, took care of sheep. And what Moses ended up becoming was a pastor, which is a shepherd to the people of Israel. So he had to spend 40 years working with sheep so he can actually understand how to be a leader of people. You know? So I think that's what God does with us, is that he prepares us to be able to take care of whatever call he puts on our lives.
Right.
Another thing I think about this calling that God does is that it's irrevocable. It's not ever going to change. That's what it says in Romans. It says that the call of God or the gifts of God are irrevocable or irrepentable. That means that when he tells us to do something, that we're not ever going to get taken away from that calling. That's what it is with Christ. God knows our hearts. And so when he gives us a job to do, he knows that we'll be able to fulfill it. Now, we can only fulfill it in him.
Yeah, for sure. And thank God he doesn't just give us that call and then just leave us to do it. Like, he is there every step of the way and encourages us. And like I said earlier, puts people in our lives to encourage us to do that too. He equips us.
He doesn't just call us, but he calls and then equips.
Right.
So, man, if there's anything else that you think is awesome, or anything else that you think we can pull out of the movie, please put it in the comments, and we'd like to discuss it. Or shoot us a Facebook message at Rideout Reviews, or a Instagram message at Rideout Reviews, or a Twitter message at Rideout Reviews. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Hit that like button.
Subscribe and ring the bell.
That's right. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.